Lewis Hamilton did not need to raise his tone. There were no shouts, no explosion of anger, and yet his message after qualifying for the sprint race in Miami was louder than ever. For a driver who has won 7 world championships and who joined the Italian team with the goal of writing a new victorious chapter, this should never have happened in the way it did. What we witnessed was not just another frustrating occasion or a mere setback. It was the repetition of an exhausting scenario, with Hamilton once again trapped among the middle of the pack. And every phrase he uttered carried the weight of a visible disappointment. His words were dry, objective, and impactful. "We are simply without speed," and the impact lies in what that statement represents. It was not a complaint about technical flaws or on-track incidents. It was a clear alarm about what matters most in the pinnacle of motor racing: pure performance. The expression on his face after that session spoke more than any team announcement could. It is evident that he is exhausted from trying to soften the failures, from coating defeats with a veneer of hope. And on this weekend on North American soil, we might be witnessing a turning point. The moment when even Hamilton seems to have exhausted his patience with a project that once promised to lead him back to the top with the red team. Before we delve into the full meaning of this outburst and its implications for the car's performance this season, please show your support by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and staying with us until the end. Because if Hamilton's tone is a reflection of what is to come, then what happens next may shake the very foundations of the Italian team. Perhaps the Grand Prix in Miami will go down in history as the moment when the dream began to crumble. This is not just an isolated episode. It is a reflection of a reality that seems to be repeating itself with increasing frequency. It mirrors something that began with isolated doubts and has turned into a crisis that threatens to taint the entire season. The numbers speak for themselves. Hamilton secured only the 7th position on the grid for the sprint race, and although that might not sound catastrophic at first glance, what followed was revealing. He appeared dejected. His posture conveyed discouragement. When asked about his chances in the sprint race, he did not respond with optimism. He did not say that he would fight or that anything could happen. Instead, he paused and replied, "To be honest, no. The cars ahead are faster. I do not know what else to say." This is not only frustration, it is resignation. And his tone was calm, yet the content was heavy. It is the kind of sentiment that accumulates not after a single poor session, but after many weeks in which nothing seems to improve, where the promise of a new phase fades little by little. And the scenario becomes even more worrisome when we realize that this moment is not isolated. Hamilton's arrival was meant to rejuvenate the team's spirit. The changes in the regulations for 2025 were minimal. A more refined car was expected, but instead radical modifications were made, especially to the suspension system, and the results simply did not follow. Only one appearance on the podium after 5 rounds, no clear evidence of improvement, and the stagnant pace are the clearest signs of this. In the previous round in China, there was a glimpse of hope. A solid victory in the sprint race, precise comments, and a clinically executed performance. But now that weekend appears more as an exception than the rule. Since then, Hamilton has been struggling with a car that does not respond as it should, a machine lacking the necessary pace to stand out, without the required consistency in the curves, and which, even in the hands of one of the greatest drivers in history, still does not inspire confidence. And he is well aware of it. With every new attempt, the frustration grows. After the qualifying session, Hamilton spoke about the adjustments made to the car's balance. He acknowledged that there were small advances. In the first free practice, the behavior seemed a little better. There were positive signs. But the main message remained the same. Theory alone is not enough. "We still have a lot to do," he remarked, indicating that the fine-tuning and the simulator work have yet to produce results on the track. And with the sprint race approaching, followed by the main event, the prospects are grim. Not due to any fault of the driver, but because of structural deficiencies. If this car does not gain speed quickly, if it does not prove reliable under adverse conditions, the event in Miami might turn into another painful chapter in a season that is already on the verge of falling apart. No one can say that Hamilton is not giving everything he has, but the frustration is becoming increasingly evident, and most alarmingly, it is becoming public, when he states that, We are simply without speed. It is not merely a technical detail. It is a warning, a silent admission that something is deeply wrong, that perhaps the project itself is misguided. And if no turnaround occurs soon, the team risks not only losing a championship, but also wasting the last great competitive years of an icon of motor racing. And the consequences may extend beyond on-track performance. If Hamilton continues to feel trapped, and if his observations are ignored without any signs of progress, what will be the next step? Will the legendary patience of the Brit begin to crumble? Will the team have the courage and agility to make the necessary changes? Or will we witness Hamilton doubting the viability of this bold plan? The most concerning aspect may be the fact that the team does not even seem to fully understand the root of the performance loss. What is not understood cannot be fixed. While adversaries find consistency, the Italian team is still struggling to determine the ideal operational window for the car, trying to find balance while rivals widen their advantage. It is a slow erosion, a campaign that began full of promise and now appears to be slipping into irrelevance. And unless profound changes occur, not just this weekend but in the overall concept of the car, we might look at Miami as the moment when Hamilton's trust and the team's faith began to wane. Leave your opinion in the comments. Does Hamilton still have the capacity to reverse this situation? Or are we witnessing the silent collapse of one of the greatest bets in motor racing in recent years? When a driver of his caliber shows such deep restlessness, the issue may lie beyond mere performance. It may be in the disconnection between expectation and reality. At this moment, what is at stake is more than lap times. It is about confidence. And there is a growing sentiment that the foundation of this partnership may not be as solid as it once appeared. The statistics are not keeping pace with the vision. The analyses are not yielding progress. And the pressure continues to mount with every green flag. Hamilton is not asking for sympathy. He demands solutions. But what if those answers do not come? What if the team cannot even provide the base necessary to compete with dignity? In the coming days, the engineers will scrutinize data, revise strategies, and simulate new approaches. But what they truly need to find is confidence, consistency, and progress. A clear signal to Hamilton and to everyone that this project still has direction. Because if that does not occur, the impact may surpass technical limits and could undermine the very essence of the relationship between driver and team. And when a competitor such as Hamilton starts doubting the process, regaining his full trust becomes an exceedingly difficult task. Watch closely what happens in Miami. Not just the lap times, but the tone of the post-race interview, the demeanor in the meetings, the words over the radio. What follows will not only reveal whether the team can react, but also whether they remain capable of keeping close the driver they fought so hard to have, and whether this new era has the strength to face its first major turbulence, a turbulence that may redefine not only the direction of the Italian team, but the entire narrative of the season.